Up Arun Gupta, who's actually here from Occupy Wall Street. People have probably read his work with the Independent. He's in from New York. He's actually been Occupy hopping in several occupations. So welcome, Arun.
Thank you. I'm here with my partner Michelle for the last 6 weeks. We've been on the road, driven over 7,000 miles. This is the 24th city we've been to, the first in Canada, where we've been visiting with movements, occupation movements. And the thing that, after talking to hundreds of people, hearing remarkable stories of hope, stories of despair, what it made me realize is that this is one of the great democratic movements in human history, and that's what is really important to remember, that all the movements that we think of, that we talk about, that we study, that we participate in, the labor movement, women's movements, indigenous movements, environmental movements, fundamentally they're democratic movements. They're about people having control over the decisions and institutions that affect their lives. It means having control over the land. It means having control over political institutions, having control over our bodies, having control over the environment, and in many ways, most of all, having control over the economy, because that is precisely what the 1% do not want. They do not want us to have any sort of control, because then they can sweep us into the margins and gutters and extract the wealth from us. And so we need to remember what this movement is about, because one of the great things is it's really united us. There are many differences, but when we go across the country, it's been crazy at times in terms of just the type of stories that we hear, and even some of the ideas can be a little bit crazy at times, as you can imagine in the United States. But nonetheless, we found so many people. We found nurses, teachers, veterans at every single site. We even found conservatives and Tea Party members who all see themselves as the 99%, who all see that the main issue is the corporate control of politics and our economy, and that we need to smash it, and we need to take back what is ours. That is not their wealth, that is our wealth. It is our land, it is our society. And this struggle, it may take a while, it may take decades, but we will win, because we need to win. We need to win back the world for ourselves and for future generations.
Thank you.
Hagela kus lachem, ahemi lachem, gigamed lachem, mamne klas lachem chakis. Hamula yot lachem gigame, hamula yot lachem sakhenim, gyuksisa, bakomas. Nukwala sa kyachem, nukwala kyacheme. What's going on here today is wrong. These condos should not be here. We, the people, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal, have opened our arms many times for many companies that helped us. But this company is only in it for wealth. We gave you the land. We gave you the properties to call this your city of Vancouver. Today, we, the people of this beautiful city, are here to voice in a good way that this is wrong. Who's going to come here and buy a $200,000 or $600,000? Pardon me, 600,000. Yeah, 600,000. $600,000 suite.
Do all those numbers
those numbers,
on that one?
We don't even make it. We don't even make it here for that.
That's right.
That's the fact. We're on the lowest end of the stick, but you know what? We have a voice. You all have a voice. Use it.
But
use your voice from here.
These were range number
Ask
one.
Crater to help us, all of us, not just one person. We put it together and make a louder voice.
That's right.
To the government in Victoria, to the governments back east, where all that wealth goes to. We don't get nothing. That's just point fact. We need to make a noise in a good way. And I acknowledge each one of you here for being here to show your support. Kaila Kasla. Ahem.
Thank you.
Woo!
Hi, I live in an SRO right across the lane from this abomination, and I've got a brief message for our bogus Premier, Christy Clark. I was at Occupy a lot with the good people there at Occupy, and we got booted out of there, and we decamped, we marched along Theatre Row, and we went up the steps of the BC Supreme Court. And this bogus Premier of ours, Christy Clark, that night blew herself out on the media and said, the public is fed up with Occupy and with what we're doing here. My message for you, Christy, is we are the public. The people at Occupy are the public. We're all part of the public. Get it right, Christy.
And just to remind people, there have been many victories in the downtown east side. So for the developers who think that there isn't strength, that there isn't commitment, that there isn't dedication, that there isn't courage in this community, they are wrong. This community has protected and defended itself for decades. The Pantages development is stalled. Down the street, the Concord Pacific development has been stalled for months. This community is going to continue to fight. And this community knows what it means to fight and win.
All right.
Just like to invite up drummers from the Aboriginal front door before we start marching down to 21 doors.
Open arms. With your good heart and good mind. On behalf of our people.
Thank you, sir.
To be honest, I am not Coast Salish. I do this because this is my family's territories. We have family ties to this territory. We have given the right to welcome you here today. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
When do we want it?
Now.
I can't hear you. What do we want?
Housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
Can't hear you. What do we want?
Housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Housing.
When do we want it?
Now.
You're not all saying it.
Oh, wait, take it back.
In 2008, this building was evicted by the then owner, Robert Wilson. It used to be the home to low-income families and low-income singles. Those people were evicted in order to let the building be flipped and sold to the Salient Group and Robert Fung. The building has stood empty since 2008, sitting on this corner on the border of Gastown and central downtown east side. To the north is the symbol of gentrification in the downtown east side.
Out of my way, idiots.
High-end cafes, condo projects, lofts for high-income people, boutiques, and restaurants that exclude low-income people. These spaces create street climates that are highly policed, where private security guards patrol to push people who live in SRO hotels in this street off the block. It's a regular routine for low-income people who live in the Rainier Hotel, or who live in the Glory Rooms, or who live around the corner in the Colonial or the Gastown, to leave their homes and run for Hastings Street to avoid the harassment of the occupying army of police and security guards. Gentrification creates public spaces that are exclusively the property of higher income people. And this site here, 21 Doors, which is all the condos here are at least $250,000. Even the one that is only 324 square feet. Even the one that used to be an SRO. The real estate market in this city is so vicious that this building sold almost immediately upon being put up on the market. We cannot trust the existing low-income housing in the downtown east side to this rapacious real estate market. The city of Vancouver and the province have to take steps to protect this low-income housing that's still existing and to stop the spread of these gentrifying condo projects. This site is important because right behind you is Pigeon Park. And since June of 2010, the Downtown Eastside Neighborhood Council has supported street vendors to set up a street market there on that site every single Sunday now for a year and a half. Weekly now, more than 200 vendors come and set up their wares here. Some of those vendors, like Tracy, who's a weekly vendor, has said that she doesn't make very much money, but she depends on the market for her friendship networks. She depends on it for her community, for a place to check in and to feel like she's part of a community. And this site has received more complaints since this condo project finished than it had ever received in the year and a half previous. The owner of this project, the developer Robert Fung, did not tell people moving in that there is a street market here for low-income people every week. And when people asked, they said, oh, there's a cop moving in, and he's going to make sure that place is gone. We're here today to issue a notice of eviction. It reads, to all owners and tenants of 21 Doors. We, the residents of the Downtown East Side, regret to inform you that your condo development project has been denied a permit from the Downtown East Side community. This development further displaces, impoverishes, and polices residents of the Downtown East Side and makes people feel more unwelcome in their own neighborhood. Your property is being repossessed for the purposes of 100% resident-controlled, affordable social housing, which is far more critical and life-saving than developers making millions in profits. Today, December 1st, is the supposed move-in day for these residents of this place. And we want to tell them that their project is not welcome here. And we hope that they recognize the assets of this low-income community are delicate and tenuous and precious. And they should never call the police to ask poor people to be chased off this block. They should never call the city and ask for low-income people or projects to be reformed for their comforts as property owners here. We're bringing them a gift basket as they enter this community. Some of it, can you hold this with me? This is our notice of eviction. Some of the things in the gift basket are things that they need to know in order to come into the community. So we have an information leaflet on what gentrification is that explains how low-income spaces are being destroyed by gentrification. And we have, what is this one?
Lots of room in Surrey.
Lots of room in Surrey, isn't it? No low-income housing in Surrey either.
Yeah, I say build more.
This is information about the annual Missing and Murdered Women's Memorial March. And this is a leaflet welcoming them to come down and support the street market. And finally, so that they know what they're up against, we have a couple of roach motels full of cockroaches to welcome them into the neighborhood. This one's personal because this one came from my hotel room. And we have a dying plant. We hope that they can not be part of killing this neighborhood, but can recognize that the original inhabitants of this territory are the Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam, and Squamish peoples, and that they are not buying title that is recognized by the people of this territory. They are buying a box in a building that we hope can remain static and not be a dynamic part of displacing this community. We want these people to join us and call for more social housing, to call for the city to buy lots in this territory, on this land, and dedicate it towards social housing to house the people who need it most desperately. So join us in delivering this gift package and issuing a notice of eviction, which maybe is contradictory, but we're in contradictory times.